that personality who delivered the treasure of Prema Bhakti, who was so intense with compassion, where is such a personality to be found as Sri Acharya Thakur? Where are the saviours of the fallen souls? Where is my Swarup Damodar? And where are Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami? Where is Raghunath Das to be found? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta Goswamis? Where am I to find Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj now? All at once they have gone to join Lord Gauranga, the great dancer. To reach such a perfect personality as Lord Chaitanya, I can only break my head against the stone in the anguish of separation. They have all gone off together in their own pastimes. Narottam Das Thakur says, unable to attain their association, I must simply weep. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribraj Jagacharya Bhaja Asto Tarasata Sri Srimad Vishva Varenya Srila Jagat Guru Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Gurudev Tirubhav Maha Mahotsav ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribraj Jagacharya Bhaja Asto Tarasata Sri Srimad Kuruchuramani Sava Shastra Siddhantavit Ananta Shri Vibhushita Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bhargya ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Brinda ki Jai. Samadvaita Vaishnava Mandali ki Jai. Kol Kartel ki Jai. Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari. So, today is the disappearance day of our Divine Master Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, President Sevaita Acharya of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math and chosen successor of Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. Gurudev himself said, the appearance and disappearance of the Vaishnava, they are the same. And if we are able to invoke their mercy, we will get the greatest benefit in our life. But we are fallen souls, and the disappearance of our Gurudev is very difficult for us, very painful for us, very not so easy for us to sing and dance and be joyful on this day, because we are bereft of his association, direct association. Sometimes Srila Guru Maharaj would lament, 10 years with Prabhupada, 50 years alone. Then we can understand if even our Guru Maharaj would lament in such a way, then it is understandable that we will feel intensely the separation of our Gurudev. Especially when we can say that we had over 20 years association with him. And during that time, our relationship became intense in his association, how much he gave of himself. And everybody knows how merciful a master is Srila Govinda Maharaj. Never telling anything bad about anybody, never being intolerant or disparaging or discouraging to anyone. Whoever would come to him, he would make them feel extremely special and honored. And we also felt much honor to be in his company. Although his nature was so broad that sometimes we would forget with whom we were sitting. You know that he's not just an ordinary person. And sometimes we would think, because his nature is like a young boy, always joking and laughing and mischievous, and sometimes we would think that he was like us, one of us, and of course he would always treat us in that way. And sometimes we would forget who we were sitting with. We can think, after Krishna showed his Virat Roop to Arjun in Bhagavad Gita, it is recorded there. Afterwards, Arjun apologized. Oh, my Lord, please forgive me. When I sat with you on the same bed and we joked and laughed as if we were the same, as if we were, as if we were just friends, and now I can understand like who you were. Then you please forgive me. But actually that caused a little pain to Krishna's heart, because Arjun, one name of Arjun is Krishna Shaka. It means Arjun is Krishna's friend, and Krishna enjoys that relationship that they have together, and that awe and reverence that was inspired when Krishna showed him his Virat Roop, that caused some disturbance in the flow of their relationship, you can say. This is Braja Leela, and Gurudev always like that, and we can see in his own relationship with his Guru Maharaj, with Srila Sridhar Maharaj, that it was more than just Guru and disciple. It was they were friends. They were intimate friends, and Guru Maharaj not making any decision or doing anything without consulting first with Srila Govinda Maharaj. And in his last days, Guru Maharaj taking Srila Govinda Maharaj's hand and putting it on his own head. And Gurudev said, oh, I know the meaning of it is very heavy thing. But this is the loving relationship between Vaishnavas, real Vaishnavas, substantial Vaishnava. And Srila Gurudev is and was a great substantial Vaishnava, the likes of which we will not see again in our life, I believe. What type of Vaishnava? We know that he was born in 1929 in the village of Hapania. And that also was a mystical thing. His birth was a mystical thing. He told us himself, jokingly, he said, my mother, his mother's name is Tarangini Devi, said, my mother, she prayed to Lord Shiva, please give me a son. And if you give me a son, he will be a sannyasi. She said, I promise you, he will be a sannyasi. But, Gurudev said, in Bengal, they have a custom where they give young men sannyas for one day. And they take a danda and then shave their head and do some thing. And one day they're a sannyasi, and next day they go back to their ordinary life. And he said, I think my mother was thinking this kind of sannyasi. He said, but Lord Shiva, he had another idea. And so we know Gurudev, he was born, and his father heard the news, because that in those days, and maybe it's still the case in many places in India, but in Bengal also especially, the father or other men, they're not allowed in the maternity room. Only the women are allowed to go in there. And they have like a special room, or a hut is built or something for that. So that was how it was. And Srila Gurudev was born, and so news was sent to his father. Oh, your son is born. Then he knew about his wife's prayer, and so immediately he ran to the temple of Bururaj Shiv. It is not where they live, but some miles from there. Bururaj Shiv, that was their family, the temple where their family would worship. And incidentally also the temple where Srila Sridhar Maharaj's family worshipped. Although ostensibly they weren't connected, they came from different villages and so on. But Gurudev's village, as you know, is Bamanpara. Bamanpara in ancient times was called Brahminpura, means the village of Brahmins. And over time, by local, speech and colloquial speech and so on, it became Bamanpara. Anyhow, so he and Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he used to go. He told us every day he would bathe in a lake near his home. Guru Maharaj's village is Hapania. And he would bathe in the lake, and then from the lake he would pick some lotus flowers. Lotus flowers would grow in that lake. He would pick those lotus flowers and he would take them and offer them to Bururaj. Bururaj means the old king, ancient king. I'm sure most of you have been there to see that temple, and the deity is in the ground, in like a hole in the ground inside the very simple temple. And so he went there, and when he arrived there, no one is there. Not even the priest is there, anything. This is Gurudev's father. Priest isn't there, anything. The temple is closed, locked. So he made his obeisance and told to Bururaj, "O Lord, by your grace, my son has been born." And then he heard from the Akash, you can say, from the sky, a voice. And that voice said, "Oh, do not say your son, he is my son. And when you return, you tell the women to remove the lamp black from his forehead, because he does not require any protection. I will protect him. He is my own son." And then, you can imagine, right? Bururaj has spoken to him. Lord Shiva himself has spoken to Srila Govinda Maharaj's father, and he jumped up with some kind of ecstatic joy and ran all the way back home, and he told, when one of the ladies came from the maternity room, he told, "Did you put the lamp black on the baby's forehead?" And they said, "Yes, how did you know?" He said, "Bururaj told me." And he said, "Remove it, because he is the protector of this boy. It is his own son." So they did that, and made a big festival, great festival there to celebrate that. And we also heard one day later on, that time it was the Bengal jungle was also very wild still then, and so one day Gurudev's mother was carrying him through the jungle, when suddenly in front of her was a Bengal tiger, and must be very frightening to see, like where Mahadevi is from me, there's the tiger, and suddenly you're faced with the tiger. Then, but without any fear, she laid Srila Govinda Maharaj down on the floor, and she told the tiger, "This is the son of Lord Shiva." And the tiger bowed down to Srila Gurudev and went away. This is some miraculous things in the childhood of Srila Gurudev. And his father was a guru, Kula Guru, there with many disciples and followers, and also he was very famous Kirtaniya, singer. And Gurudev said every year he would go for reading Bhagavatam for 1 month in one temple, and he would be always being invited for programs to give kirtan and pravachan, some lecture and so on. So in this way, then he said, sometimes I would also go. Sometimes my father would take me, and sometimes I would just follow him at a distance without him knowing. And he said he's singing many high songs of Narottam Thakur, songs of Kalidas, and songs of other, like high Vaishnavas, Madhura Rasa songs. And he said he considered that I was not qualified to hear those songs at my young age, so he would not let me. Said, but I would hide in the tree and listen to my father singing and like this. And he said, and I learned all these songs by listening to my father singing. And he said, and also, with one very sweet thing, he said, every morning I would wake up at 3:30 without fail. I'd always wake up at 3:30, and he said, and then I would think, oh, now is time to eat muri. He said, they're like, not now is time to chant japa, or now is time to eat muri. He said so, and I would get up and I would go to my father, and my father didn't like that I would disturb my mother. He said so I would lie on my father, and my father would sing to me the Maha Mantras from the different yugas. There's a Maha Mantra for each yuga, and he said he would teach me those like a little boy. He would teach me that. He said, but this is my habit, and we see wherever he was in the world, always he's up at 3:30 in the morning, always. And never mind the time difference or anything. Wherever he is, 3:30, he's up. Before everybody else, he's up. Then that his whole life he did that, like that. Anyway, so he said, I learned all these things. He said sometimes my father would be making kirtan, and he had some students that he was teaching to play mridanga and so on. And he said, I would just sit by the tree, pretend to be reading a book. He said, but really I'm listening, what my father's teaching them. He said, so this way I learned all of these songs. And he said, my father also taught me how to play mridanga, like this. And then he said, anyway, later, he said, my father died. He said, then we had to move to my uncle's house. And he said, my uncle was a very big, strong man, and he was famous in Bengal as a stick fighter. You know that Bengali martial art with the sticks, fighting with sticks?
Lathi.
Yeah, so he was very famous for that, his uncle. And he said, I never saw him in my life. I never saw him cry. He said, but one day he was on the telephone, and when he came off the telephone, he's crying, and I'm very shocked to see. And I asked him, Uncle, why you are crying? He said, because these people rang to invite your father to come for this function, which he would do every year, some function, to lead kirtan and so on. And he said, and they did not know that your father had passed away. It was just shortly after his passing. He said, and I didn't know what to say. He said, I didn't tell them yes, I didn't tell them no. I just said, call back in an hour. He said, and Gurudev said, oh, but you didn't tell them no. And they said no. And he said, and he's like, this is why I'm crying, because I'm thinking, without your father, who will do this? Who will give this program? And then Srila Govinda Maharaj said, I can do it. And he said, what do you mean you can do it? You don't know the song. Yes, I know the songs. He said, test me. Ask me any song. And he said, tell this song. And he said, then I sang that song, word perfect, meter perfect also. So I would say. Then another song he tested me. And I know also, same way I sang and gave, the right meter and everything. And he said, then my uncle again, he began crying, and he embraced me. And he said, when they call, I will tell them, he cannot come, but his son will come. And then Srila Govinda Maharaj, he did that. So he went for that program, and this way he began. When he said now he was the oldest son. He had a brother, Dhananjay, but oldest son. And then he said that, so the responsibility for the family came on me. He said, so I took like an apprenticeship with a doctor in the local area. He said in those days the custom was you would learn from the doctor, and after like being his apprentice, so to say, for some time, you would be accepted as a doctor yourself. So I was doing like that, and he said, so my duty was that he had 2 surgeries, and I would have to go before opening the surgeries in the morning and clean and make everything, prepare everything for that. So he said, and then the doctor would come, or the staff would come, and they would open it. He said, then I'd go and play football with my friends. He said I liked it very much to play football, so he would go then. And he said, and this one place near there where that surgery was, they said there was one big zamindar, like landowner, He said, but like most zamindars of that area, he was like a gunda, So he said, but he was very wealthy and he had a very big house. And he said, and he liked me very much. I would come to his house, and he had a big library, and I would, in the evening, sometimes I would go and read books in his library. He said mainly novels. I like to read novels, I would read that. And he said sometimes I would fall asleep and spend the night there. And he said he didn't mind. He said, in fact, he liked me so much. Sometimes I'm chastising him, like in a joking way. I'm telling him and his associates, oh, you are all bad men, you are all gundas, chastising them. And they said, they wouldn't be angry with me, they'd just laugh, they would just laugh. So he said this was, how he would spend his days. He said, but this zamindar, he liked sadhus, and he's always inviting sadhus to come to his house and do some program there. He said, so sometimes I would, when the sadhus would come, I would go. Sometimes I would not go, and he said, but generally I would, I may be there or not be there. But he said, but one day this group of sadhus, they came, but these were different sadhus. He said, not like the ordinary sadhus that used to come there. These are different, these sadhus. A group of them, maybe 6 or 7 came, and they're doing Hari Kirtan and giving some lecture and like this. And he said, and they were very good, very, noticeably different from these other sadhus. He said, but one thing was there's no one in their group that could nicely play the mridanga. So he said, I was there and I said, I can play. And they were like, yeah, sure, And he said, no, I can play. Let me try. So they gave him, and he played, and perfectly, beautifully played. And they're like, oh. He said once they saw that, they wanted to capture me for their group, he said, for their party. He said, and I like them. He said, and every night I'm coming and they are brainwashing me, he said. They are brainwashing me. They're telling, your mother is nothing, your father is nothing, this world is nothing, only Krishna is real. They're telling like this, and he said, this way they're washing my brain, he said. And he said, these sadhus talking this nonsense. He said, but actually I could not deny what they are telling. So he said, then one brahmachari, he said, liked me very much. And that brahmachari, he asked, when we leave here, will you come with us? Would you like to come with us? Join with us? Basically he's saying like this. And Srila Govinda Maharaj said, without thinking, I just said, yes, I'll come with you. Yes, I'll come. Then he said, I never did that. I never, impulsively, never would say something like that. But something inside me made me say, yes, I'll come. And they're very happy. He said, but immediately I regretted what I said. and I'm trying to find, like, how can I get out of it? So, thank you. So he said, but if I give my word, I can never go back on my word. This is my nature. So I cannot say I will do something and then not do it. So then he said, so I thought, what can I do? How can I go with them? I have the family responsibility and everything, but I promised to go with them. And also, he said, also, there's some attraction for me with them. What will I do? Then he said, maybe if I modify my condition, they won't be able to take me. He said, so maybe it's like Wednesday evening, and the program is going to go on till Saturday, every night till Saturday. He said, then if I say, if you take me, you'll have to take me tonight, otherwise I won't be able to come. He said, then they'll say, oh, well, our program's not, if it doesn't finish till Saturday, never mind, like maybe another time. So Gurudev said, this way I thought I'll be able to get out of it by modifying. So that evening, said that Brahmachari Prabhu, very enthusiastic, and he says, so you'll still gonna come with us? And Gurudev said, yes. I said, but it must be tonight. Otherwise it will not be possible. But if you can take me tonight, then I'll come. And he thought, this is it now. They're going to say, okay, no problem. Then that Brahmachari said, okay, tonight. He said, I was shocked. He said, but now I've like double given my word now. So what will I do? He said, then that night when the program finished, he said it was about like 11 o'clock at night when the program finished. He said, and that Brahmachari said, okay, you ready? Let's go. And from there, they walked to Navadvip, he and that Brahmachari Prabhu. And it's a long walk from Nandan Ghats to Navadvip. When we go there, we go by coach, by car. You don't, walking a long way. And maybe, Madhusudan Maharaj and Dada Gauranga, when they went there, they came back from there to Navadvip on bales of jute in the river, in the Ganges, because the Ganges flows from there, it's from Nandan Ghat to there. They jumped in the river and like floated on the jute there. No, to Navadvip. So, anyway, he said, then we reached Navadvip at about 4:30 in the morning. So walking from 11 o'clock, 11:30 to 4:30 in the morning. We came there and he said, and of course, where our mott is, now there's Gauranga Setu. He said that bridge wasn't there then. In fact, the first time when I went to Navadvip, they just started building that bridge then. That was 1982. So then, this is 1947. There's no bridge there in 1947. And there's no boat or ferry or anything. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, So he said, so we had to swim across the Ganges. And he said, and I only had the clothes that I came in. He said, so I just stripped down to my underwear and I tied my cloth in a bundle and I swam across the river holding my cloth above so it wouldn't get wet. Got to the other side and then I dressed and we went to there. And all the time they're telling, he's saying we're going to the ashram of this great sadhu and like this, They said, then when I got there, all there was a field with a thatched hut. This was, before the building works or anything had begun there. Really, just a small thatched hut, maybe a concrete platform and a field. And he said, and I'm remembering, when I'm going there, I'm imagining, the ashram of Vishishta Muni, the ashram of Vishvamitra Muni, like from Ramayana and Mahabharata. These ashrams that are described there, I'm thinking like that it's going to be something like that. And when I get there, it's just a field, And he said that Brahmachari Prabhu, he could see in my face that I was disappointed, I was very disappointed. Then he said, oh, don't worry, Prabhu. It is a very small ashram, but a very big sadhu is living here. So, so they entered through the gate, and he said, I saw Guru Maharaj is walking outside that hut on the plinth a little above the ground, then, and chanting japa, walking backwards and forwards, chanting japa. And he said, I came and I bowed down to him, and Guru Maharaj asked that brahmachari, oh, who is this? He told, he has come, he wants to join with you, and like this, then he said, then Guru Maharaj said, will you stay? And Gurudev said, I was a little annoyed by him asking me this question, because my thinking is, if I say I'm coming, then I'm coming forever. There's no question of like, will you stay? He said, but I saw this is like Guru Maharaj testing me. He said, will you stay? And I said, yes. Immediately I said yes. Then Guru Maharaj said, okay. Today is Nishinga Chaturdashi. It was the day of Nishinga Chaturdashi. And he said, and today we will not take anything all day. We will fast the whole day. And Gurudev said, and before I never fasted in my life. He said, we are Vaishnav family and we are following Ekadashi and all these things. But we're not fasting like proper fasting. We're just not taking rice. We'll, just take some aloo dum or, some simple prasadam on Ekadashi, but never fasting. And he said, and he said, even to this day, I don't like fasting. Gurudev said, that's one thing. One thing that I can tolerate anything, but hunger I cannot tolerate. In fact, he said when he was with Guru Maharaj once and there was nothing for them to eat, he said, Guru Maharaj, he just accepts. He's a sadhu. He just, okay, nothing to eat, we will fast, no problem. He said, but he said, I woke up in the middle of the night, my stomach is like where's the... And he said, I was so hungry that I took some newspaper and I shredded the newspaper and soaked it in water, and then I ate that for something to eat, So then Guru Maharaj saw that. Oh, no, you eat something. But anyway, so this is the first time. Never fasting before, and now they're telling not only, like today is fasting, but nothing. And in the ashram there, they're not even take any water. This is like Guru Maharaj's standard, right? Not even water. So then Gurudev said, it was very difficult for me. He said, then I asked that brahmachari, in that tree, there's one very nice papaya growing in that tree. Can I climb the tree and can I eat it? And that brahmachari said, all right, you can take the papaya, but half you must offer to Mahaprabhu, the other half you can have. All right, so he said, then I had the papaya. He said, in a few days, Guru Maharaj asked me, said like his first lesson to me was, if you will stay here, you must listen to what I tell you and not what your mind tells you. Can you do that? Gurudev said, I said yes. He said, I was young and I was foolish, so I said yes, and I thought it would be very easy to just only listen to him and not to what my mind tells me. He said, but actually, we're all listening to our mind so much, and mind's not always giving like bad direction, sometimes giving some good direction also. He said, so this was more difficult than I thought it would be. So, but then he said, we were taking prasadam, and they're giving this is like maybe a few days later, and in the dal, there were so many dead insects in the dal. And he said, my first thought was to throw it, Then he said, then I thought, oh, no. And he said, I said, okay. And I ate the dal, insects and everything, Then afterward, and he said, Guru Maharaj was watching me. He said, then afterwards, Guru Maharaj said, before you took your prasadam, why did you say, okay, like that? He said, because I saw in the dal so many insects and objectionable things in there. And my mind told me throw it away. But then I thought, no, this has come by the grace of Guru Maharaj, so I must take it. Then I said, okay. Then he said, Guru Maharaj smiled very broadly, and he said, I felt, he said, I passed that exam. He said, then he gave me one book, Sharanagati, and in there he said he tick marked many of the songs, and he said within 1 month you have to learn all these songs by heart. Then and Gurudev said, and I did, and all those songs also I know to this day. And maybe 29 or 26 or 29 songs. But actually, if you look at Sharanagati, that's more or less all the songs. So that he more or less had Gurudev memorize all of those songs in one month, within 1 month. Gurudev said, hey, I did it. My brain was very sharp then, and I was able to do all of that I could do. And he said that still today I remember all those songs. I remember when we were in Russia with Gurudev, and Jai Rajendra Krishna Prabhu ki Jai. Then, good to see you, Prabhu.
Now you know we are there.
Yeah. Then, Mother. Then, oh yes, we were in Russia. That time, Gurudev had chosen Paramahansa Maharaj was going to be his successor. And during the festival, he told Paramahansa Maharaj, you sing Guru Parampara, you know Krishna Hoite Chatur Mukha, that song on Krishna Sevan Mukha. So then he said he had to find a songbook to sing it. But then Gurudev said to me, oh, he will be the new Acharya and he doesn't even know how to sing this song without a songbook? What is that? Anyway, so Gurudev considered that to be important, to learn the songs. And actually he told us you should learn the songs, the Vaishnava songs. Learn them so you don't need to refer to the book. Mostly we know, but we still refer to the book in case we forget something. And also, because it's not our native language, then it's easy to miss the word or get the word wrong or something like that, of course. But also, Gurudev told us, learn the meaning of the songs. You need to learn the meaning of the songs. Otherwise, just repeating like a parrot won't be so good. But if you know the meaning of the song, that is better. Anyway, so Gurudev learned all those songs as a young man, and within 1 week, Guru Maharaj he decided, this boy, I will make this boy as my successor. In 1947, this was in 1947, and he asked his sister. His sister is Krishnamai. Sorry, not Krishnamai. His sister's name was Ramarani. He had one lady disciple, Krishnamai, but Ramarani Didi, Guru Maharaj's sister. If you see a picture of her, she looks like a female form of Guru Maharaj. It's so close. And she was very strict, that even though Guru Maharaj is her brother, she was also became his disciple. And if Guru Maharaj is in his room, she will not enter his room. She will only stand at the door. She'll never go in the room with Guru Maharaj. When Guru Maharaj is gone, then she'll clean the room or do some service like that. But not. But she will not go in when Guru Maharaj is in there. Anyway, and just to say that in her later days, before her passing, just move that chair. And this chair is better for her. Yeah. in her last days, she lived later than Guru Maharaj, and she's living in the Mott in Navadvip. And Srila Govinda Maharaj gave some servant to her, Western girl, to serve her. And always she's rejecting them. No. And I'm boasting, it is true, but the only woman or girl, she was a girl then, that she would accept as her servant was Ishanuga. Ishanuga was her servant in Navadvip. And Ishanuga can tell you how strict she was. She said one day she came in her room and she was asking her to do something, and she said, my arm brushed the wall. Then she said, oh, you have to go and take full bath now. For that, now you've become unclean. You go and take full bath. And why so many of the other girls were rejected was because they couldn't accept that, you know? Like, why she's being so... But Ishanuga, very submissive to her, and she accepted Ishanuga as her servant. It is a wonderful thing. Anyway, after 1 week, Guru Maharaj called her, of Srila Govinda Maharaj's arrival there. Guru Maharaj called her, Ramarani, did he? And asked her, what do you think about this boy? And what do you think will be his future? And she said, I do not know anything will be his future, but now he is looking very nice. I think he is very nice. And this way, and anyone who would come there, Guru Maharaj, like any god brother or anyone come to visit Guru Maharaj would say, you please give some examination to him, this boy. His name then was Gorendu Brahmachari. You give some examination. And the Paramahansa Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he came there, and after meeting with Srila Govinda Maharaj, he told Guru Maharaj, mark this boy, he is very special. He's a very special boy. You look after him, he told Guru Maharaj, like this. And Guru Maharaj's godbrother, Bhakti Alok Paramahansa Maharaj, he came there, and he told Guru Maharaj, this boy is like a baby cobra. He said, baby cobra may look like a baby, but the bite can be very poisonous. So what he's saying is, Gurudev may just look like an ordinary boy, but you mark he has some. You will be, very sharp. Yeah, spiritually very sharp. And so many told like this way about Gurudev, about his character this way, and then after and then Guru Maharaj, he gave Gurudev initiation on that same year on the day of Jagannath Ratha Yatra, and he gave first and second initiation. Normally the practice with Guru Maharaj was you would not get second initiation till 1 year after your first initiation if you were qualified, but he wanted to give Gurudev both at the same time. Like broke his own rule, you can say, for Gurudev, and he did that. And he also sent Gurudev with that brahmachari to go to see the Ratha Yatra on that day. And that brahmachari, something happened that he didn't come in time, and Guru Maharaj was very angry with him and told, oh, he is new and he has not seen Ratha Yatra, and you are delaying him. This is very bad, and chastise that man. So, but after 1 year, he said, then Guru Maharaj, he made it settled in his will. He made a will. And in that will, he made Guru Maharaj, Govinda Maharaj, as his spiritual successor. And Gurudev said, from that day, my fighting life began. Said, because all those brahmacharis and those who were all loved me before, but as soon as Guru Maharaj said I was going to be this, then they all hated me. They all fighting with me all the time. In fact, 2 brahmacharis including that one who bought Gurudev, they were god brothers of Guru Maharaj, disciples of Saraswati Thakur, and they wanted to control Guru Maharaj. They wanted to take, after Guru Maharaj, they wanted to take because they knew in Guru Maharaj's chart, it says in his chart that he will not live longer than maybe 54 years or something, and Guru Maharaj close to that. So they're thinking, if when he dies, we can become the owners of this property. So then,
this is so trivial.
Yeah.
when someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
Preparing for that.
Then they told Guru Maharaj, we need to make some like charter or like how the temple will run. Guru Maharaj said, oh, okay, and by which rule will it run? And they said, by majority decision. And he said, oh, I see. So what you want to do is that you will go together, and then by your majority you can overrule me. And they were like, oh, we're busted, Then Guru Maharaj said, do you not understand that I left my Guru Maharaj's mission and came out on my own to avoid this kind of nonsense, politics and controlling and all this mundane affair. That's why I left the mission of my Guru Maharaj finally, because it had descended into that. And now you want to institute that same thing here. Then Guru Maharaj said no. So and finally they had to pay those two brahmacharis to leave the temple. And Guru Maharaj said, I didn't have any money. He said, but my godbrothers, Madhusudan Maharaj, Madhav Maharaj, Paramahansa Maharaj, and others, they gave money to me, and we paid those brahmacharis to leave. Anyway, that's the nature of this world, unfortunately,
Fighting.
Yeah, always fighting in Kali Yuga for whatever the thinking may be. Anyway. So many times up until Guru Maharaj's passing in 1988, he changed his will, the details of his will. But that clause where he said that Govinda Maharaj would be my successor after me, he never changed that, ever. From 1948 or 49, whichever it was, I forget, but up until 1988, so for 40 years, that remained the same. And for those next 40 years, he trained Srila Gurudev. And, you can say deposited his wealth, spiritual wealth with him. 40 years of that. Once I said that to Gurudev. Oh, Guru Maharaj has given everything to you. Deposited everything with you. And this is, I said, this is your blessing, Maharaj, from Guru Maharaj. And he said, yes, my blessing and also my curse. And so long, Gurudev tried to put that off, that later, last days, we can say, Gurudev, Guru Maharaj wants Gurudev to take the chair, to become a charger. And he wants to establish him in that chair in his lifetime. And there are many reasons for that, but mainly so that it would be irrevocable, that no one can no one can fight over it. So of all his disciples, means Indian disciples, he only gave sannyas to one, Govinda Maharaj. There were others like Haricharan Prabhu, Krishna Sharan Prabhu, and others who were qualified and wanted to take sannyas, but Guru Maharaj would not give sannyas. Only to Govinda Maharaj. And the reason is because in Bengal, then, whether it still is, I don't know, but then the law was, if you are a guru and your sannyas, and when you pass away, your sannyas disciple, he will inherit everything. So then Guru Maharaj only wants one, so no one can say, well, I'm his son, you understand. So that he did. And also...
It is a very bad thing.
Yeah, it
all
is
are
bad.
qualified, all are sannyasi, they don't need anything and they fight for nothing.
This we see, Ramanujacharya showed this, right? He showed this. There's one disciple of Ramanuja called Danudas. He's very famous. But there's a famous story where Ramanuja, he took Danudas and he said, where all the sannyasis were bathing in the river, and what do they own? 2 pieces of cloth and some kopin. Means, like loincloth. That's all they have, Then Ramanuja, while they're bathing in the river, they've taken that off and they're bathing. And not naked, but with gamsha or whatever. Then Ramanuja told Danudas, he told him, exchange their clothes with each other. Like his clothes put there, his clothes put there. This way. Then when they came out the river, this isn't my dhoti, this isn't my uttari. And then they all began fighting over like their pieces of cloth. So Ramanuja saying, you see, they're meant to be sannyasi, but they're fighting over strips of cloth. So this is the situation. Anyway, so also in Bengal law at that time, if anything is established for 3 years, then it's irrevocable. So that's why Guru Maharaj wanted Gurudev to take the chair in 1985. But Srila Govinda Maharaj always avoiding, and he's always telling Gurudev, give it to someone else, I'll serve them. And he said, I like that because I have some freedom, I can do my service, I can go here, there, and do that. I don't have any big responsibility on my head for that. And also he said, I am also thinking I'm not qualified to do that. Many qualified men can do that. But Guru Maharaj won't have that. Then he told, and even in his will he wrote, that he must take the chair. After my passing, if he does not take the chair, it will remain vacant for 5 years before anyone else can take that chair. This was in Guru Maharaj's will. So anyway, then finally he told Gurudev, tomorrow, this is the
5 years, why?
Huh?
5 years, why?
He's just saying that to give him chance, if he doesn't take the chair, leave it vacant for 5 years to give him chance to take that chair. Then after 5 years, some necessity is there to give initiations and so on. So someone has to take the chair. But this way, he was willing to leave it vacant for 5 years after his passing if Govinda Maharaj wouldn't take it. To give him the opportunity in those 5 years to take that responsibility. But as it happens, he told Gurudev, tomorrow I want you to take the chair. I want to make you a charger tomorrow. This was on Bahulastami, the day of the day of the manifestation of Radha Kund, which is the same day Gurudev took sannyas. Gurudev again telling, no, Maharaj, give me some time, like this. Then Guru Maharaj said to him, finally he said, if you will not take the chair, I will leave my body tonight. And he's not joking. He's not joking. He can decide on the time of his passing. And Gurudev said, I knew that. And he said, then I bowed down to Guru Maharaj and I said, I am your goat. You can cut my tail or you can cut my throat, whatever you want. I am yours. So then next day he was given that chair. I was there at that time, in India at that time. But I didn't know what's going on. I'm just a kid, I didn't know. I wasn't privy to all the things that are going on in Guru Maharaj's quarter, I was just there. And that morning was is just before Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja festival, I think. Anyway, big festival. So that morning, I was sent to Calcutta with Purnananda Prabhu, my godbrother, to buy flowers. we went to the flower market and we bought like baskets full of marigolds, like hundreds, or maybe 6 baskets we had to take and bring them back on the train. So the actual sannyas ceremony, everything, I missed it completely. When I got back, it was all finished. But when I arrived, Guru Maharaj bought Gurudev from his room and made him sit on his chair upstairs. And Gurudev's very reluctant, but Guru Maharaj made him sit in Guru Maharaj's own chair. And then Guru Maharaj said, from this day, I'm retiring. I won't be giving Diksha, Harinam, Sannyas, nothing. I'm not giving that anymore. Excuse me. He will do that now. He is the Acharya of that mott, this mott, and I am retired. And you all respect my wish like this. I have to admit, I didn't really know Srila Govinda Maharaj very well then. I had a few, you can say, a few wonderful encounters with him earlier. But then he's in white, wearing white, and like the manager of the temple and everything. When I first got there, I became quite ill, and he put me in the room with Haricharan Prabhu, with one of the senior brahmacharis, and every day he would come, and as my doctor, he would like put ointment where I needed it, and give me medicine and like this, and like very with his own hand, like very humble. And I do not know like who he is, but I see that with Guru Maharaj is like, his relationship with Guru Maharaj is like nothing I ever saw, ever. And sometimes very casual. Sometimes, like the big sannyasis from ISKCON have come to consult with Guru Maharaj. Sometimes, like big devotees from other missions, from other sampradayas even, they're all coming because they know what kind of pandit Guru Maharaj is, and they're all coming there, this like assembly, and I'd like sneak in the back to see what's happening. And Srila Govinda Maharaj is sitting around the corner from Guru Maharaj, like reading the newspaper as if it's like nothing happening, and very, very kind of casual. But I heard Guru Maharaj speak about him.
When did Aranya Maharaj?
Sorry?
Aranya Maharaj.
When did he what?
When did he come?
Oh, he was before Govinda Maharaj. He was Guru Maharaj's first disciple, or amongst first disciples. He was Krishna Sharan Prabhu. He was the senior of Guru Maharaj's disciples. But he was there, always there. And anyway, so Gurudev, what was I saying? Now I forget. Gurudev managing the temple and like looking out for everything, making sure everything was happening, and Guru Maharaj not doing anything or making any decision before Gurudev. Oh yeah, so one day he's there. Oh yeah, he treated me as the doctor, and he did that because he was like a qualified doctor, actually. Gurudev is a homeopathic doctor, and he treated Guru Maharaj when all of the other doctors, like even the top doctor of Navadvip, couldn't treat Guru Maharaj anymore. Gurudev was able to give treatment to him. In fact, it happened, right? Guru Maharaj was very ill. He was very ill. He suffered intensely from migraine for many, many years. And Gurudev said he used to take this medicine, ergotamine. It's an allopathic medicine. He said, but it's very powerful medicine. And he said it would like cure, for the time being, it would cure Guru Maharaj's headache. He said, but from this, all of Guru Maharaj's other health problems came from taking this medicine. It was very strong medicine. He said, so then one day, he said, I'm in Calcutta and for some service, and a telephone call came from Haricharan Prabhu and said, you have to come, Guru Maharaj is fading fast. No medicine will work with him. The doctor came and he told no medicine can work in him. And he has no pulse. We cannot find any pulse. We think he'll pass today. Then you please immediately come. And Gurudev said, okay, I'm coming. He said, he said, ring me in 1 hour again on whatever the phone was. Then he said, then I'm taking a bath, taking shower, getting ready to come. And he said, and then I just started crying, right? He said, I started crying thinking, oh, Guru Maharaj is going to leave us. And he said, then I prayed to Lord Shiva. He said, you are the master of medicine, and you are always telling that I am your son. Then please give me some medicine for my Guru Maharaj. Then he said, then I heard, he said, I heard from the sky, the name of this medicine, this homeopathic medicine. I heard the name of the medicine. He said, then I thought, did I imagine it? Was it the sound of the shower, the water? I just imagined it. Then I said, Lord, if it is true, again, please tell again. And he said, then clearly again, the name of that medicine came. He said, then I went to Guru Maharaj. He said, when I arrived there, I came on the last train, I arrived, like midnight I arrived there. And he said, Guru Maharaj is sitting in his chair, taking prasadam. And I came in and I said, Maharaj, what happened? They told me you had no pulse and you were fading. And Guru Maharaj said, yes, I was. But then Haricharan Prabhu said, Govinda Maharaj just said, give this medicine. And he gave the medicine. I took the medicine, and now you can see what happened. Here I am. He said, then Gurudev said, after that I became Guru Maharaj's doctor. He won't take anyone's medicine. He said another time when the doctor came, and he's like the head of the medical board for Nadia, the whole of district of Nadia. He's like the best doctor in the whole of Nadia, and he was Guru Maharaj's doctor. And he came there and he prescribed some medicine, and Guru Maharaj said, I won't take your medicine unless Govinda Maharaj says. And Govinda Maharaj wasn't there.
Was he homeopathic doctor?
No, he was allopathic doctor.
Allopathic.
Yeah. He said, I won't take your medicine unless Govinda Maharaj says. And then he said the doctor went away angry. Then why you are calling me? He told Guru Maharaj. Why you are calling me? If you won't take my medicine, why bother calling me? And he went, and he said, then Govinda Maharaj said, when I came, I heard what happened. He said, I went to see that doctor. And when I came, he saw me coming down the path, and he said, oh, Govinda Maharaj, not necessary to come. He's still angry, Not necessary to come. I won't come and see Guru Maharaj. He told me he won't take his medicine, my medicine. Then Govinda Maharaj said, yes, that's why I'm coming to you. For that reason. He said, did you not say that no medicine will work in him before you told that, isn't it? He said, yes, I did. He said, but I'm not a good doctor. You are the best doctor in the whole of Nadia. Then I know, if you will tell me your diagnosis and your medicine, I will know what homeopathic medicine I should give instead of that. But you please, I still need to consult with you. You please don't be angry with Guru Maharaj. Then the doctor was, okay. When, Gurudev gave some a little flattery, you're the best doctor. And he was a good doctor. He said, so this way. And then he said, then after that, he said, then I cured Guru Maharaj of his migraine. He said, for years he'd suffered with this. It's a common thing amongst great people, this complaint. They say that Napoleon, he suffered with that. He said that's why he lost the Battle of Waterloo, because he was suffering from intense migraine and didn't know how to cure it. Apparently Napoleon used to sleep on the back of his horse 15 minutes. That was what he would sleep on the back of his horse. And a brilliant stratagem that he couldn't, no one could defeat him in battle. Then, but Wellington defeated him at Waterloo, as we know. But they say the reason is because he was suffering from that migraine at the time. So Guru Maharaj also suffered from the migraine, and Gurudev said it was completely debilitating that when he had this, that he can't do anything. He has to go in the dark room, and that can't do anything until it passes. And he would take this medicine, this ergotamine medicine, and from that, all other health problems came to Guru Maharaj because of that, the side effects, if you like, of that medicine. Then he said, then I have to wean Guru Maharaj off that medicine and cure his migraine. He said, then I went to see that doctor, and the allopathic doctor, and I told him, what is the medicine for this condition? Can you tell me, like in allopathy, what would be the mother tincture that you would use for this medicine? And he told what it was. The doctor told it was this, and he said, and what's the maximum, power that you can give for this? Because if you give mother tincture, if you give too much, you can kill someone. So then he told, and it's it's a poison, like belladonna or something. I don't remember, but it was like, if given in the wrong dose, you can kill someone with it. So anyway, they advised Gurudev, this is the medicine, this is the tincture that you would give, and Gurudev said, okay. He said, when next time when the migraine came, he said, I gave Guru Maharaj first 1 dose of the ergotamine, then after 1 hour, 1 dose of the mother tincture, but not maximum dose, just under maximum dose. And then again, and he said this way, alternating, and gradually weaned him off the drug and gave the homeopathic medicine instead. He said, then Guru Maharaj's migraine gone forever after that, never returned. And this way, Gurudev was very brilliant with that. I can tell you a funny story that Gurudev had 2 disciples, a couple from Ireland, and after they became Gurudev's disciple, after 6 months, they wrote a letter to Gurudev, to Govinda Maharaj, chastise him. They said, what is this? They said, I'm paraphrasing, I don't know the exact words, but they're paraphrasing, saying, we have been your disciple for 6 months and we cannot conceive a child. What is this? We thought after becoming your disciple, this would all change. And when we heard Gurudev read this to us, and when we heard this, I'm feeling angry, so this is very offensive. They're turning very offensive. And Gurudev's just laughing, right? He's just laughing. Oh. And he said, oh, such faith they have in me. So much faith they have in me. And they were simple devotees. And so Gurudev sent a reply to them and gave prescription. Take this homeopathic medicine and see what happens. And they took that medicine, and within a few weeks, she conceived and had twins. Now, before that wasn't possible, but he prescribed that medicine, and then she became pregnant and had twins. So many, miraculous things Gurudev did. And we know, there are many, many miraculous things. I remember how funny Gurudev was when I was staying in Navadvip, and I was very close friends with Guru Maharaj's secretary, Badrinayan Prabhu, and I would often sit with him. He had a little cottage, he and his wife. I would sit with him in the cottage. One day we're sitting there together, we're just chatting and like that, then, and I feel some water on my face. Look, where's that coming from? And then the next thing, Badrinayan Prabhu's like, oh, he's got some water on his face. I'm like, he's looking at me. Did you just get water? Yeah, I just got some water on my face. We're both like, and then another, again, water, on the face. And then we looked, and there's Gurudev's just outside by the door with a water pistol, shooting us with a water pistol. It's so funny. Anyway, and a few times I sat with Gurudev and took prasadam with him then in the time of Guru Maharaj. But I didn't really, I was always totally in awe of him, but I didn't really know who he was or anything. Except when I heard Guru Maharaj speak about him, because although he's in white clad, everyone calls him Govinda Maharaj, then coming from ISKCON and that, like, only sannyasis they call Maharaj generally. So then one time Sudhir Goswami asked Guru Maharaj, why do you call him Govinda Maharaj, Like his passport name was Govinda Ranjan Vidyabhushan, that was on his passport. And but everyone called him Maharaj, everyone called him Govinda Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj said, because I consider that his service never leaves the Nirgun plane. This is why I call him as Maharaj, Govinda Maharaj. And another time he said, Govinda Maharaj is a natural Paramahamsa. And he is more fit for this service than I am. He told like that. And in his last days, after Gurudev had taken the chair, then I saw one day Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj with Guru Maharaj on his veranda. And Guru Maharaj, not really seeing anyone then anymore at that time, but he's sitting there on his bench or cot, and Goswami Maharaj kneeling there, and Guru Maharaj grabbed him by the neck, and pulled him close to him, and he said, promise me you will serve Govinda Maharaj. Promise me you will assist him. And really urgently telling like that, Yes. Then, after Gurudev's passing, we received a letter from Jayadvaita Swami from ISKCON. He's the editor of Back to Godhead magazine, and like senior sannyasi in ISKCON. Then in that letter he was telling us, just after Govinda Maharaj took sannyas, he said, I visited with some other devotee from ISKCON, and he said, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj asked us, you please bless him that he can do this service as acharya of this mission. He said, at the time I'm thinking, what value was our blessing, Like you chose him to be your successor, then what value our blessing? He said, but I could see that Srila Sridhar Maharaj is so ardent that everyone will bless Govinda Maharaj. And really everybody did, everybody. We can see so miraculous things.
One day Gurudev came to my house, and there was one crazy lady waking up 4 o'clock, cleaning the whole street. And one day when Gurudev came out, he said, your minister told me I'll be all right. And from that day I'm all right. Whenever she sees me, she's laughing her head off.
Yeah. Yes, so many miraculous things he did. He said he went to I think it was Madhav Maharaj's mott, and Guru Maharaj had sent him there, and he said, Madhav Maharaj, this is Guru Maharaj's godbrother, he said Madhav Maharaj is going to give a lecture that day. And as Govinda Maharaj is coming through the gate with the disciples of Madhav Maharaj, and he said, do you know what your Gurudev will speak about today? And they said, no, we don't know what he's going to speak about. He said, I know. I know what he'll speak about, and I can tell you that he'll begin his lecture with this verse. And he told some verse, and they're like, how can you know such a thing? Why are you telling that? He said, I know, you wait and see. And then Madhav Maharaj, when he gave his lecture, he began the talk and told that verse, Then those boys, those disciples, they were amazed. They're like, how do you know? How do you know that? He said, because I know, what is his style of preaching, I know that. And he always will say something in reference to what's happening in the world today. And he said, and I saw, it was very stormy morning, And he said, and I know that he'll tell this verse, which says, the rainy day is not the bad day, but the day when we can't hear something about Krishna, that's the bad day. He said, I know that he'll start his preaching with this book, because I can just see from the weather, this is how he's going. And I was right. There's so many things like that. Like he said, I was with Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, another prominent disciple of Saraswati Thakur. He said, and there's some photographs showing the Viceroy of Bengal came to meet Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and at the Chaitanya Mott in Mayapur. So he was invited there for some festival, Gaurapanima or something. And he said, in the photograph, he said, everyone's wearing a big garland. And also, the Viceroy, John Anderson, his name was John Anderson, he's wearing a nice big garland. Saraswati Thakur's wearing a garland. Everyone's wearing a garland except Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj. And Govinda Maharaj said, oh, you're not wearing a garland in the picture. Everyone else wearing. He said, yes, I'm not wearing. And Govinda Maharaj said, I know why you're not wearing a garland. He said, how can you know? This is like years ago this happened, and Gurudev wasn't there or anything. So I know why you weren't wearing a garland. He says, okay, tell me. And he said, because they gave garland to everyone, but they forgot to give a garland to the Viceroy, isn't it? And he said, yes. He said, so you gave him your garland. Am I right? He said, yes, that is exactly what happened. That's why I'm not wearing the garland in the picture. Because they were making a garland for him, but they bought it late. So I gave him my garland so that he would have the garland. And Gurudev said, yes, I know. I can understand. From the picture, and because I know you, I can understand. Many things like this, Gurudev, great intuition. He had great intuition. And he could manage the whole mission, world mission, by himself. Everything, and no one ever questioned what he said. Everybody was satisfied with his solution. He always knew the solution to every problem. We had one godbrother here. He was like a kind of artistic devotee, and one of our godbrothers in America, he had a business making vinyl prints of things, like they put on shop door window, like shop windows and the awning above the shop and all of these things. In the UK, no one was doing this business at that time, but in the America, it would become quite a big thing. So he taught our devotee here. He taught him how to do it. Our godbrother in America taught him how to do this, and they bought all the machinery and everything for it, and he had this like a studio where he's doing everything, and they took Srila Govinda Maharaj to see that, and Govinda Maharaj saw, and he showed some sample what he's doing, and then he said, very good. He said, but do you know why you will not be successful in this business? He said, no. He said, because you don't have any customers. He said, necessary to have some customers. You've got the product, but you have no customers. And it was true. Gurudev could understand. He'd not done any advertising. He'd not canvassed for it. So he's got everything, but no way of selling it. Gurudev could immediately understand that was the case. So many things we saw. And miracles also. He showed some miracles. One miracle was the dead telephone. The dead telephone. That in Navadvip, we were in Navadvip, and Navadvip, there's a telephone. Navadvip 85 was the number of the phone in the Mott. So you can understand how many telephones there are in Navadvip, right? Navadvip 85 is the number, and always 9 times out of 10 there's no connection there on that phone. You get periods where there's a line, but most of the time no connection. So Gurudev's sitting, and every now and again the telephone's on his desk. He'll pick it up to see any Dial tone, nothing. Put it down again. No. So we're just sitting with him, and he's talking to us one morning, and then he picks up the phone to test the line, and a voice says, "Govinda Maharaj?" on the phone. "Govinda Maharaj?" He says, "Yes, this is Govinda Maharaj." And he said, "Oh, I'm calling from Vrindavan." And it was one of the owners of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's property in Seva Kunj. This property had been in like probate, from like contentious of the ownership for years, and the government were deciding like who is the owner and so on, you know. Then this,
Did they actually call from Vrindavan?
they're calling from Vrindavan, yeah.
Happened,
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll leave that up to you. But anyway, this voice says, now that property has become available, like it's on the market now, and we want, you know, the Mahants of Vrindavan, they want that you will have this property. And he said, ISKCON have offered us 4 times what we've asked for it. And other motts have also, this is like where Krishnadas Kaviraj composed Chaitanya Charitamrita. But we've decided we want you to have it. And Govinda Maharaj said, "Oh, but I have no money. I have no money to buy that." And they said, "That doesn't matter. If you agree, we will arrange everything, and you can give the money later on. And you just need to send somebody to sign." All right. And Govinda Maharaj said, "Okay, I'll do that." And he sent Purnananda Prabhu, who was there in Vrindavan. He contacted him. He went. He signed the papers, and that property was secured. That's where our temple is in Seva Kunj. It's right next door to Radha Damodar Mandir, and opposite also. That's the house of Krishnadas Kaviraj. So, and Gurudev wanted to make a Sanskrit school there, and we have the temple there. But all of that property came from that dead telephone call. You see, then Gurudev, after that, he put the phone down. We were all looking like an amazement, and then he picked the phone. Dead. It's dead again. There's nothing. Put it down. Another miraculous, wonderful, miraculous thing happened. I think it was in Australia or New Zealand. Anyway, I forget exactly where it was, but all the devotees came. There's a big festival, and one lady there, she came. She had 2 children, a little boy and a little girl, and during the festival, Gurudev sitting with the devotees, and those children's mother sitting with Gurudev. And they came in, and the little girl came in, and she said, whatever her brother's name was, she said, "He's swimming. He's swimming." I said, "What do you mean he's swimming?" He's swimming at the bottom of the lake. And then immediately they could understand, oh, he's fallen in the lake, and he's like drowned.
It was in Mexico.
Mexico, yeah, you're right.
Trivikram was there.
Yeah, you're right. And anyway, he... Then they all rushed there, and they saw this boy lying at the bottom of he's dead at the bottom of the pool. And they fished him out, and he's been under the water for like 10 minutes. It's all over, you know. So then everyone crying and wailing, and they're trying to give some, you know, artificial respiration, like everything. They're trying everything, but the boy's been under the water for 10 minutes. And he's blue, you know, like he's become blue is everything. Then they told Gurudev, and Gurudev, he prayed to Guru Maharaj. Oh, these people, they've all come here for me, and this tragedy has happened. How can you allow this to happen? And then that boy started breathing again. And today he's alive, you know. He tells that story too. Like, impossible that he could live, but he lived. Another time, not so like amazing, but Gurudev used to wear like a kavacha with some gems which were given to him by Guru Maharaj, and while he was bathing in the Ganges, one day he went to bathe with the devotees in the Ganges, and that fell off in the river. And is lost. It falls in the Ganges, that's it, it's lost, right? The current takes it away, everything, Then Gurudev said, I prayed to Mother Ganga, please, this is not my property, this is my Guru Maharaj's property. Please do not take it from me. And he said, then he went under the water, and that came in his hand. Impossible. Came in his hand, and he took that out, showed that. Impossible things possible with him. Many things like that. Many devotees tell these stories of Gurudev. The son of Lord Shiva. But, besides all that, he's a Param Vaishnava. And he gives whoever comes in his association, he wants to give them Krishna consciousness. He wants to show them the teachings of Guru Maharaj. And in fact, once here in this temple upstairs, he was coming down to give a lecture. And he's walking through the door to come downstairs. I was with him, walking down and he turned around and he said to me, Prabhu, anyone who stays in the line of Srila Guru Maharaj, they must get the service of Rupa Manjari. What do you think? He said. What do you think? I said, yes, Maharaj. If you say so, I believe it must be true. But I don't even really understand what that means. But I know that it's the highest possible attainment of any Vaishnava. As shown by Narottam Das Thakur in his song, the service of Rupa Manjari. There's nothing higher to aspire for. And Gurudev saying, anyone who stays in the line of Guru Maharaj, they must get this. So, this was his legacy. This is why he traveled around the world over, 23, 24, 25 times, however many times it was, just to connect people with this, with Guru Maharaj. And so humbly, so beautifully, he would do that. Whenever he would come, they would say at the immigration, why have you come here? To spend time with my friends and family, he would say. All right. And he said, and this is my feeling. You are all my friends and my family members. And I have come for that. He said, when I say I am your friend, he said in India, this word is very heavy word, bandhu. He said, it is very heavy, friend word. He said, it means that in the good times I am with you. In the bad times I am also with you. In the time when there's famine, I will feed your family. In the time, when there's hardship, I will be there to support you. And when you die, I will be there to light the fire at your funeral. So this is the meaning of friend. And he said,
a friend in need is a friend in need.
yes, indeed. So he said, so when I say I am all your friends, this is the relationship that I want to enter into with you all. This kind of friend, serious friend, not just like, yeah, he was my friend, not like in a casual way, in a deep and a real way. And really, he was that. He was Dinabandhu. He was the friend of the fallen. He was the friend of all of us. So much that we cannot but say that our life is so blessed because of his association. So blessed because of his connection. And it doesn't end with him also. His disciples, their connection through his disciples connects us with him. His sampradaya continues through the Vaishnavas, through the Acharyas, who are recognized by him. They are giving that connection with him. And that connection is the connection with Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj's sampradaya, that is everything. It is a very rare and very wonderful thing. So we are so much indebted to him, and I also feel so much connection and reverence with all of you, because you are his legacy. You know, we see the qualities of the Father in the children. We are all his children. In this way, we continue his work. We continue to expand his mission as best as we are able, to maintain it as best as we are able. And we feel blessed, and we feel like that has given us some real purpose in life. So I want to finish our talk here today. Now we can offer Guru Puja to His Divine Grace, and then we will take Mahaprasadam, remembering His glories, we pray that what He envisioned for the world in the line of Guru Maharaj, we pray that we may remain there, and that we may continue in our service to His lotus feet. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Govinda Maharaj ki jai. Jai Srila Gurudev Tirubhav Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Brinda ki jai. Samadvaita Vaishnava Mandali ki jai. Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Sham Sundar Hari Jiyo ki jai. Jai Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Jai